Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Giorgos. I'm a Greek teacher and I have taught over 150 students how to speak Greek at my Greek teaching school called Polylogue. And today I'm going to show you how Greeks really introduce themselves in Greece. Let's rock and roll. First off, let's cover how to say your name in Greek. Now, if you're using the phrase "to onoma mou είναι," then you sound like Google Translate. Because in Greece, we don't use that phrase most of the time. We use a couple different phrases that are a little bit more natural. To onoma mou είναι, by the way, translates to my name is. But in Greek, we would say I am called, or we would say I am, and then your name. For example, the first useful phrase to introduce your name would be this. Είμαι o, or I, and then your name. Είμαι means I am. O, you use it if you're a man. I, if you're a woman. So I would say personally, Είμαι ο Giorgos. If I was a girl, I would say Είμαι η Maria. So that is the first phrase that you can learn. You can use every time you want to introduce yourself. Let's see the second one. Our second example is this. Me lene, and then your name. And that means they call me, and then your name. Personally, I would say Me lene Giorgo. Or if I was a girl, Me lene Maria. Alright, moving on. Now we'll be covering origins, meaning where you're from and also where do you live right now. So in Greek we would say, first off, this. Είμαι από, and then your article and the country. And that means I am from the country. Personally, I would say Είμαι από την Ελλάδα. That means I am from Greece. The article can change based on the gender of the word of the country. For example, Ελλάδα is a feminine word, so that would be την Ελλάδα. But if I took Belgium, that would be το Βέλγιο in Greek, then I would say Είμαι από το Βέλγιο, because Βέλγιο is a neuter word. So that would be the phrase that you would use to say from which country you're from. But we can also see a phrase where you can express where you're living in right now. And that would be μένω, and then your article plus our little preposition here, and the city. So for example here, for myself, I could say μένω στο Παρίσι. And that would be I live in Paris. And I'm using to here because Παρίσι is a neuter word, so my article would be to. Μένω στο Παρίσι. And the full preposition is σε, but whenever it is combined with an article, it kind of compressed together with the article, and is removed. But again, I could say something like μένω στην Αθήνα. I live in Athens. So that would be it to express where you're from. Two phrases, one for the country, one for the city. So our third and final step would be to make the introduction natural. We don't want to sound like robots. And in Greek we have a few phrases that make you sound a bit more natural, as if you're actually meeting a person and you're not a robot or an AI repeating a couple of phrases. So one phrase that we have here is a ωραία. And that means nice. And this is something that Greeks use quite often whenever we interact with somebody and we kind of want to sound a bit more natural, want to encourage more conversation, and we want to show that we understand the person. We can say ωραία, nice. For example, if somebody is introducing themselves and they might say Είμαι από την Ελλάδα, I would say ωραία. Another one would be χάρηκα, and that means nice to meet you. So whenever you do an interaction, you say your part, they say their part, say χάρηκα, maybe extend your arm as well to actually do a little handshake. We do that quite a lot in Greece. And that means nice to meet you. Χάρηκα. These are some basic words to make the introduction sound a bit more natural, but of course, as you become a bit more advanced, you're going to learn phrases and different vocabulary that could be used to actually make it even more natural. These ways that I showed you should cover the most basic level of introduction while also keeping it natural. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you gained value from it. So all in all, to summarize, first off, to say your name, you would use the phrase Ime o or Ime I and then your name. You can also say Melene and then your name. Number two, to say which country you're from, you would say Ime apo tin or to Βέλγιο, Ελλάδα, whatever it is. And to say in which city you live in, you can say Μένω στην Αθήνα, μένω στο Amsterdam. And number three, we try to make it sound natural. So we add little filler words here and there to encourage the conversation. For example, Harika, nice to meet you. Or ωραία. I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you found it valuable. If you want to learn more Greek, you can join my free Greek learning community by clicking the link in my profile, but also in the description down below. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.